treat for you at the bottom of this hour. Sonny Vaccaro, the former sports marketing executive, inspiration for the movie Air, about how Nike got Michael Air Jordan to be one of their clients or one of their endorsers. And Rob, I saw it. I told you, it was a good movie. You should definitely go check it out, especially with you being into Jordans the way you are. But I just think for me, I mean, I'm into Jordans too, but just, it was a good movie, number one. My wife liked it. She's not into the sneakers. And I being into the sneakers and just seeing what they've become.
Yeah, the behind the scenes
really
story. There's no way they could have ever imagined that being what it's been. I don't care what anybody says. Like, you know, the greatest laid plans. Like, people talk about, Chris, even let's say the success of McDonald's, right? Oh, it's a great idea, whatever. That it was a suburban Chicago hamburger place, owned by the McDonald's brothers. That they didn't make up some name, Chris, that was going to be appealing. There's nothing to it. It was a hamburger place owned by the McDonald's brothers, and somebody bought it and decided to make it a franchise, and it turned into that. But I think the same thing. Let's make a signature sneaker after Michael Jordan. And, he was the hottest player in sports at the time. I get all that. And then, boom. Because those sneakers, I tried them, Chris, the first time around.
Right.
I didn't like them. The ones. You
didn't like the look or the way
they weren't comfortable. The ones.
I didn't have them when they first came out.
They weren't comfortable.
But I wore a lot of Nikes. I played, college and, well, at that time, I was in high school when he first got in the league. And I played in Nikes. And they were fine. They were comfortable. Mine, I don't know what their Jordans were like.
I like them now. I mean, the ones, I have the Travis Scott ones, Chris, low tops. I love those. They're very comfortable.
Rob, what's interesting, because obviously Adidas and Converse were going after him, and they weren't giving anybody their own signature shoe. Like Magic, Bird, and Dr. J all wore Converse, but they basically wore the same kind, the same ones, right? They just
it wasn't just
to match their uniforms. What do you think? Like, obviously Jordan, him being as great as he was, had nothing to do with the shoes he wore. But I do think that the shoes becoming so iconic, I do think that has enhanced his legacy. Now, so let me ask you, if he had gone with, say, Adidas and just wore the Adidas like everybody else and, it didn't have this iconic sneaker, do you think his legacy would be any different? Obviously, he still would have been as great as a basketball player, but the sneakers are way beyond basketball.
No, I agree. I think it transcends, because now people didn't even watch him play, value those sneakers. And, Jordans, there were other great players who put their names on sneakers. They weren't good, Chris.
Right.
They weren't. Patrick Ewing's had, affordable sneakers. The Ewings. Terrible. Like,
and he had his own, well, he didn't have a signature Adidas, but he had some Adidas. He wore Adidas for a while,
but know what I mean.
Ewings,
Yeah, Ewing had sneakers. Shaq had some sneakers you could buy at Target or something. You remember that? Shaq had some knockoffs.
Wore Etonics.
Right.
Clyde Drexler wore Evita.
Grant Hill had a Fila deal.
And Stackhouse,
I mean, they had
Iverson,
those.
or even Iverson had the Reeboks.
And they didn't do anything.
None of them have come close to what
Not
Jordan
even close.
did.
Even LeBron James, as popular as he is, okay? And I know he's he can rub some people the wrong way, but he's still wildly popular and followed, okay? Even then, and even his sneaker, Chris, it never caught on. I'm not saying it's terrible. I had a couple pair. I tried.
I've had several pairs, and I've liked them, but they still have not caught on.
Nah.
Nothing has. Nothing has. And Rob,
they're trying. They wish they could get another one, Chris.
I don't know. I don't know if it's obvious. I think a big part of it is his game was so. And I actually think I think he's the GOAT. You think he's the GOAT. I think he's the GOAT based on his merits of just what he did. But I do also think, Rob, part of the appeal of Jordan to people is also just that his game was so beautiful. I mean, and his game was so much more graceful than LeBron's is. And I think that might be a part of it too. I was talking to my wife about this, and I said, Jordan was kind of like a Michael Jackson. Like, a lot of people could do the same moves as Michael Jackson.
No, I got it. Yeah.
But they're not going to look as, like, they look better when Michael Jackson did them.
Right.
And that's Jordan, right? He just, the way he moved was very graceful. I think it was the most graceful that we've seen in the league. And I think that's part of the appeal to him too, Rob.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff going on at that point, but he was so different. And I, Chris, you know, and I've told you a million times, I mean, I was covering the NBA during that. I was in Richfield, Ohio. I saw the shot over Craig Elo. I was there courtside. And I was there at Chicago. I don't know if you remember this. When they were playing Cleveland in that series, but the game before that famous Game 5 in Cleveland, Chris?
Yep.
Michael Jordan them lost Game 4 in Chicago. I was there for that. I was covering the series, and Michael Jordan missed a free throw late in that game, which allowed the Cavs to win that game. You know,
nobody talks about that.
I'm telling you, but I remember. I
often say that.
I still remember that. I'm just saying, you know what I'm talking about. Like, he late in the game, he missed a big free throw, and that allowed the Cavaliers to win that game. And then, of course, he won it the next. You know, of course, it's secondary because he made the big shot to win the series. So people aren't going to remember that. Had they lost.
That I do say that is one of the, like, Michael Jordan and all the athletes at that time. That's what we mean, Rob, when we say they weren't under the scrutiny that today's players are. And no, I think LeBron James is the most scrutinized athlete ever in American history, because every single day you see it, Rob. Every single day, every possession he has is scrutinized and made bigger than it really even may be. It might just be a regular season game on a Thursday night in Sacramento in January. That means nothing. And LeBron passed up a game-winning shot opportunity. Or LeBron missed the game winner, potential game winner. And it's the end of the world the next day. Every show's talking about it. Every show's talking about, does he have the clutch gene? Oh, I saw he don't have the clutch gene. Right, I didn't even remember what you just said about Michael Jordan.
Right.
You know? It doesn't mean I don't think Jordan was better, but that Jordan, Magic, all these guys benefited from that compared to today's era. And I often say that when people talked about LeBron passing up the last shots, you know, and I don't like he didn't always do that, but you know, the pass to Kyle Korver or whatever in the finals. I'm like, hold on, let's be fair. Michael Jordan passed off at times. He passed off to Craig Elo. John Paxson. He passed off to Steve Kerr. In the finals, no less.
I'm gonna tell you,
they made the shot.
I'm gonna tell you one thing that always, in watching the documentary Last Dance, it feels a little different. And I'm not. You're right. He didn't pass to other people, but if you watch that video, Chris, and he tells Steve Kerr, like, it ain't like I don't want the shot or I'm scared to take. You know what I mean? Like, he's like,
they gonna double me,
right? Like,
and I'm gonna go to you,
right?
But here's,
I'm just saying, like, I don't think people feel like Mike was passing to Steve Kerr because he don't want to take the shot, and I think
they definitely don't feel that way,
and I think that's the difference.
But why do they feel that way about LeBron? We've seen him take last second shots.
I know, but I'm just saying that's how, what fair or not, that's what people feel, right? Would you agree with that?
That's the perception. I don't agree with that. I mean, I don't feel that way, but yes,
that's the perception that he don't want it
of many.
Right.
And that's my point. If LeBron, let's say in this series with Memphis, if they got a situation like that and LeBron on the bench looks at Austin Reeves and says, look, they going to double me. And be ready, I'm going to pass it to you. If that came out, and same thing can happen, Reeves hits the shot, there would be those in the media, among the fan bases, that would say LeBron didn't want it.
See, now that's different.
You don't think so?
I just think I think because the problem is, and maybe this is the other part that LeBron is working against LeBron. When LeBron has given up the ball, those guys haven't always made the shot. Like,
but is that LeBron's fault?
No, but I'm just saying. So when you lose or something happens, you go, yeah, you gave up the ball to George Hill. You gave up the ball to Kyle Korver with the lead and Draymond in front of you and in foul trouble. I'm just saying. Because you don't win those games.
Right, because nobody killed LeBron after he kicked it to Schroeder.
Exactly.
Just a couple nights
exactly.
ago.
That's
and I
you
hear
see what I'm saying? Like that.
Right. But Rob, if we are smart enough to know that you can't really blame LeBron for that. If you want to say he should have taken it's just, I don't know. I mean, you can't. Jordan didn't make Steve Kerr make the shot. He didn't make John Paxson hit the shot. Is Steve Kerr and John Paxson, are they better than, Schroeder and Kyle Korver and Kerr are very comparable type players. Same with Paxson. So I hear you. I mean, you're not saying anything that a lot of people do feel that way, but I do think that you brought up a great example of, just the difference in perceptions. Let me ask you this. Do you remember? So I guess your first pair of Jordans were
I'm trying to remember. I think I had I just know I tried them on, Chris.
Oh, you didn't buy them?
Yeah, they were uncomfortable. I tried them. I did. And they didn't feel, you know what? I think I did buy them, but I didn't keep them. Because I had a pair of ones. I thought they were hard. You remember the black and red ones? Those were the original ones. And I think I bought them, but didn't feel good about them. So I didn't wear them and then eventually got rid of them. And then it wasn't until later on when after they got past those and they made the 3s and the 5s and those. And
that's when they really
those are the ones that took off. Starting at 3s.
Yeah. I thought the 2s, which I really like now. I actually got a pair. I've had a couple pairs of 2s. When I first saw them, I thought they were the ugliest sneaker I'd ever seen. I was like, what the heck is that? They had the iguana skin.
Right.
They didn't have a logo, like a Nike sign or swoosh or anything. I was just like, what in the world is that? And, they grew on people and I like them now. I think they're among the hottest ones. All right, we just talking Michael Jordan and some Air Jordans. We didn't mean to, but we ended up going there. So if you want to call up with some of your memories about Air Jordan sneakers or anything like that.
How many pairs do you have?
Yeah.
Are you a sneakerhead? Jordans in your collection? Just talk about
Rob, I was in church Sunday, Easter Sunday, and the pastor was about 40-ish, maybe a little older.
He had on Jordans?
I don't know if he was wearing some fresh sneaker. He admitted, he said, look, I'm a sneakerhead. And he said when the Jordan 11s came out, he ran to the store. Those are the Concords with the patent leather. He ran to the store and wanted to buy a pair. It was the first day they out. They had one pair left. He wore a size 10.5. The only pair left they had was a 9.
And he bought them?
He said he bought them.
That's crazy.
And he wore them to school the next day just so everybody would talk about how fly he was and he got the new Jordans.
And his feet
hurt. He said they were killing his feet. He said he had to take them off between classes and put them back on.
That's
crazy. Said he walked home in his socks.
Right, I believe it. A size and a half, Chris?
I don't even know how he got his foot in there, Rob. I mean, my goodness. But all right, your turn to weigh in about the Air Jordan sneakers.
All right, Cheese in South Carolina. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up?
Hey, what's up, you guys? How you doing? CB, what's up, Rob?
Doing
what's
good.
What's up, man?
Man, I love this topic that y'all on, man. This topic is beautiful. I've been waiting for y'all to. Now y'all got a topic that's up my alley.
How many pairs you got?
I got about 25, 30.
Wow.
Yeah. My collection is a mix though. I got like Kobe's, I got Jordans, and I got a whole bunch of stuff. Hey, but
what's your favorite Jordans?
Yeah,
which ones?
I like the 11s and I love the 7s. I have a
11
whole
and
bunch of
7s.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I'm not. But let me ask you guys a question though. If you guys had to make a collab with Jordan, whether it be the Broussard 1s or the Parker 3s or any Jordan model, what would it be?
You mean
Oh yeah.
Well, my favorites are the I would say the 4s. I mean, I love the 4s, the 3s, the 11s, the best.
It's funny.
But I would go with the 4s.
My favorite pairs now are the 1s, low top, the Travis Scott's ones. Those are the ones.
Really?
Yes, those are great walking around sneakers because you're not playing ball in them, but they're, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're sporty and whatnot. All right, let's go to Trucker Don real quick in Boston. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. There you go. What's up?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. You
Yep.
guys are awesome. Good show tonight.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And
man.
I'm still waiting on you guys to get your daytime show because, boy, I tell you, the knowledge that you guys put out there is just too much.
Well, just
Thank
a matter
you,
of time. We need some people to retire, and then we'll move up. I'm just saying.
There you go. You guys got to remind KD that the NBA, because your show last night, the NBA of the '80s would knock him all over the place.
Right.
I mean,
look, he struggled against the physicality of the Celtics last year. And that was nothing compared to what they did in the 80s and 90s, or the 90s especially.
That's right, and he makes the 80s Larry Bird look like Charles Barkley, in comparison. And Bird couldn't stand up to that all the rigors. So
Right.
KD wouldn't have a prayer. But anyway, yeah, great show. I love the question about did the Air Jordans make Jordan's mystique bigger? And I'd say no. I'd say Michael Jordan made Air Jordans bigger.
There you
Well,
go.
I agree with
That's a good point, Don.
He did make the shoe, but if they had never made a signature shoe, like Adidas say, it would have been interesting. But good call, Don. All right, it's the Odd Couple live from the TireRack.com studios. Our next guest is a legend, a former sports marketing executive, the inspiration for the movie Air, which tells the story of how Michael Jordan signed with Nike as a rookie or going into his rookie year. We welcome in the great Sonny Vaccaro. Sonny, how are you?
Well, I'm good. Talking to Chris, you and I have touched base a few times across the years.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to this. Rob, I know we probably touched base, but I'm ready to go. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.
We on a time limit, or we got extra 2 minutes?
Yeah, unfortunately, we got about 10 minutes.
We got 10 minutes, so let's get it in.
We got a lot to cram in there. Did you ever?
We could do a whole lifetime in 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right. The movie, I went to see it last weekend with my wife. I thought it was terrific. What was it like for you to watch this movie and to be played by Matt Damon? And he's not as handsome as you, but they did the best they could with Matt Damon.
Well, let me say this. When we were all children at one time, okay, we all looked at that movie screen up there, and we pretended we were that person up there, whether it was some girl we fell in love with because of her looks, or some guy was a hunk of a guy, or he won the shooting contest, whatever it was. We had images of the screen that surpassed our lifetime. I mean, we grew older. So watching the movie once it's done, I was a lot of the rehearsals and all this stuff. I sort of knew it was coming. But until the day I saw it for the first time before it was screened, I lived in a fantasy world, because obviously the cast is one of the greatest casts ever put together.
It really is.
Guys, this only had 9 or 10 people in the whole movie. I mean, they controlled an hour, 60 minutes, I think, by speeches, by intuitively saying things that came to their mind when they were speaking. So, Chris, I'm overwhelmed, and it'll live in my mind forever. And the value of a movie, it does live forever, Chris. And I'm very pleased with what it turned out to be. The message given, was a little bit of Hollywood. It was a movie, not a documentary, but I can say here with good faith and say it was very, very accurate as to what the purpose was in this movie.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that was going to be my question. You know that Hollywood takes a license to a lot of things and they embellish it to make it, more dramatic and whatnot, because it just can't be mundane and you just give the facts, as you said, not a documentary. So it wasn't that wildly worked over to make it more dramatic than it really was.
Yeah, a couple of scenes. Just to go right to a point here that a lot of the guys asked me is, I love to speak, Chris, and Robert, I apologize to you, but I've known Chris a long time.
Right, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay. But and I love to speak. When Pam and I walked away from the world, and in 2007, and said we're going to create, to do the rest of our life fighting for the kids and all that. I'd go to universities. I made these speeches. Every camp I ever did, every All-Star game, I always had a speech for the kids. But I got to tell you, Matt Damon and the writer Alex Conway, I said some of the things they said there, but I just want to be honest to God here, guys. I couldn't have done the State of the Union like Matt did for me at the end of that movie.
Right.
He made Sonny look good, and I appreciate that. So that's what I'm saying. But the intent of all the things, and I don't know where, Rob, you guys are going to take me with this, but it was there. In most of the scenes, they happened. Maybe not in the location they were presented to do, but the characters were displayed and put on the carpet by saying meaningful things. And the Jordan family, obviously, my relationship with the Jordan family became much greater after the signing. And I went through the death of James. I stayed friends with Dolores and the rest of the family for years until today. I mean, we're still friendly, although I don't go around the Nike crowd anymore. So go ahead, ask me another question. I just wanted to say that.
Sonny, in the movie they said, and I remember Jordan wearing Converse at North Carolina, and they said he was huge Adidas guy. As soon as he was off the court, he's putting on Adidas. At the end of the day, what was it that got him to Nike? Was it just that you guys paid him more? Because and correct me if I'm wrong, when he entered the league, he was wearing regular Nikes at first, right? Like, when did the Jordan 1, was that midway through his rookie year or his second year, or when did that come out?
It really was at the end of the second year. The prototype that Peter Moore put together was starting to work on him. And then, obviously, the second year is when we sold 130. I mean, the first year went off the wall on that. But the second year, when you were able to put Air Jordan in there, or just Air, when you were able to put the brilliance of the kid, remember, fellas, he missed 50-some games his rookie year.
Yes.
I mean, so then he comes back and gets 63 after somebody, at Boston, I think it might have been. Yep. But Michael was sold because what I said in that first scene, at Tony Romo's with him, basically was given me, I was given the power to do that by Phil Knight, at the bottom line, no question, by Rob Strasser at a meeting when I picked the kid as opposed to the other guys wanted to take 2 or 3 people. So I was the one with the inside connection. And just so your audience knows, I saw him at the 82 game, which set my whole mind in motion, guys. And that the 82 games when they beat Georgetown. Well, again, the world knows John Thompson was one of my best friends in 1982. Patrick Ewing and 3 other players on Georgetown played in my Dapper Dan Roundball Classic. And at that time, John and Tony Valvano and Rolly Massimino winning NCAA championships. So when the kid made the shot, Chris, I didn't give a damn about Michael Jordan. I didn't care about Dean Smith. I didn't care about, Converse shoes on Dean Smith teams. I really didn't. And I didn't really think about Michael Jordan until I met Antonio Romas. But what I remembered was, in that scene where Matt shows the film of that shot, that psychologically, and I've been told by experts, what drifted into my mind. Like I said, I didn't care about Michael until I met him. So, but to go to your question, when we got it rolling, when you saw the last scene where, Dolores comes in and James comes in and Chris comes in and David Falk comes in and we're all there. So, and they didn't show that in The Last Dance, Chris. I just want to point out your thing. They sort of eliminated me in The Last Dance, thing. Right. You probably may not know what I'm asking about, but I was there, obviously. And I was the only person. There were 5 particular meetings with Jordan. The first one, Strasser. The second one, when I met Michael. The third one, we met David Falk. The fourth one, when we had a major meeting at the Olympic Games were in '84. In Los Angeles, we had a major meeting with Phil Knight and somebody that I'm not going to discuss right now, who really helped me put this over. And the fifth one. So I was the only guy there. But I can tell you this: when Mrs. Jordan, when Viola makes that statement, he basically made the same statement. The last statement you're all going to remember for the rest of your lives is when Peter puts the shoe in front of her, and she said, "It's just a shoe until my son puts in it." That was Hollywood.
Right. Okay. There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great line right there. No, it is.
It's one of the best lines, and it's one of those all times, like
Right.
of all the gin joints and all the towns and all the cities in the world, you got to come into mind, like Casablanca, right? There's always a line, guys, in some movie that you don't forget, right?
No.
And so I hope I didn't drift too far.
No. That's good. And the other thing I was going to say, now help me real quick. Did Magic turn down a deal with Nike and a piece of the company? And I mean, yeah, that was the story. There were a couple other athletes.
That was in that movie Winning Time, or
right?
the show Winning
did
Time.
Magic turn down $10 million or something, or piece?
Let me say this to a learned audience, because the people listening to you tonight are learned. First of all, the thing on the Lakers was one of the most successful things ever. The only problem with that, it was half fact and half fiction.
Okay.
Now let's just give me a thing, because I love Magic Johnson, and I'm sure he and his imagination. But gentlemen, people listening to this program. In 1979, Nike, we weren't signing pro guys. We had a couple guys, but they were, getting $35,000, $50,000. No one marketed anybody in Magic, Larry, Dr. J. I mean, all these guys. 1979, we wouldn't have had enough money, and I don't think they sold Nike stock until '81. So I think that was something that you go along in life and you think might have happened.
Okay.
I'm sure Magic believed that. I'm sure, because I knew Magic Johnson. He had just come out of school. He went to his freshman year. They won the national championship. Nobody gave a damn. And we all know, and your audience knows, in 1979, the NBA Finals were on tape delay.
Right.
Yep.
So I would say they didn't have the money to offer it. Maybe Mike or Magic and his people might have thought that, but they wouldn't even have thought about it. Michael Jordan didn't even hear about him until 1984. I mean, and he was honest about it that day he met me. I never wore a Nike shoe. That was '84. So I'm saying it could have happened, but I doubt very much that it did happen.
Why do you think no other player? I mean, LeBron. A lot of guys now have signature shoes, but no one,
not even close,
has been able to come even a fraction of what the Jordans have become. Is it just because he was so good, or what do you think it was?
Because everybody has to stop and breathe on this one, and I'm going to try to explain it to make sense to your audience. Only because Jordan wasn't like the greatest player in the world, because I don't believe that you can do that. You do it in decades, whatever period, that GOAT thing. But what Jordan did, because of what he was able to do playing, he created a symbol, that jump man, that shoe, of what he was able to do into a whole new world, Chris, that you weren't saying. You weren't born yet, but there was nothing about marketing an athlete in 1984. Right. When Nike started putting Spike Lee and Memorial, these ads were great. That added to the mystique of everything. And then when we got to the point where we dared David Stern to stop him, he became a symbol. But the most important one ever done, what I'm told, is when he stood behind the gate or the fence and bounced the ball and said, the NBA won't let me wear the shoe, but you can. Then Spike Lee, he got to get him. But basically, what Michael Jordan did for your audience, and Sonny Vaccaro, he broke a barrier that there was no human being. If there would have been another reincarnation of Michael, and all those kids, Kobe, Tracy, LeBron, all those guys, Grant Hill, they all had like shoes. Walt Hazzard even had a shoe, Chris, in the 70s, but it never made. But what made it was Air Jordan. That will live forever. And what made it, Chris, he broke the barrier of blacks and whites and minorities earning money. And he did a better thing than just blocking a barrier and the guy can be the fifth man on the team instead of two or three. He broke the barrier that the player could be a part of the organization. That's what Air Jordan did. That's why Michael Jordan can never be duplicated. That's why he'll live forever. Michael will be gone someday, as we all will. In 10 generations down the line, there'll be kids buying Air Jordan.
That's right.
All right.
Sonny Vaccaro. Sonny, great stuff,
Thank you,
man.
Sonny.
We thank you for the insight. And again, everybody go out there, check out the movie Air. It's fantastic. And Sonny, congratulations, man. That is awesome to be,
Yes. Immortalized forever.
Yeah,
Forever.
in a movie like this. And we know you put in a ton of work, whether it was shoes or basketball tournaments, with the high school players. I mean, you've done great things for this game. And you deserve it, man. So congratulations.
That's right, Sonny. It's like you're in
Can
the
I
Wizard
say
of
one thing
Oz.
real quick? Can I say one thing? One of these days we're going to overturn the NCAA complete with name, image, and likeness. Someday when that's all cleared out and the players are over, let's maybe talk again.
All right, let's do it.
Definitely, man. All right, Sonny. Thank you.